had a couple of people mention that, they can't believe I'm out in this cold. They'd be frozen. Truth be told, if this was an honest-to-God survival situation, I'd be worried about sweating. Well, it comes down to the proper attire. When it's cold like this, anytime you go out in the wilderness, whether you're going to be for a hike or go fishing, you want to make sure you're dressed for the weather. Thinking that you're going to get someplace safe and warm, it can end up being the end of your day, in a very literal sense. So layering is important, and the material, what it's made of, synthetics, natural fibers. Synthetics are good for insulation, and they're good for breaking the wind, but as soon as they get wet, they lose their insulation factor. Natural fibers, especially wool, will keep up to 80% of its insulation factor even if it's soaking wet. That cannot be said for any other material, not even cotton. Cotton is typically, it wicks away your sweat very well, but it's also woven a lot tighter, so it takes a lot longer to dry. Synthetics, again, will also, they can have so much insulating factor and aren't good with being wet, but they also trap moisture as well. They don't wick away the moisture and let it evaporate very well. Either way, because of the wind breaking and the insulation factor, I start with a long sleeve poly insulated shirt, tight fitting. You need it, you want it close to your skin, and then I have a cotton flannel over top of that, and then I have a cotton long sleeve shirt over top of that, and then I have a lightweight synthetic hoodie over top of that, and then of course my cotton poly sweatshirt. So layering is important. You can always take off layers, especially, again, if this was a real honest-to-God survival situation, I'd be worried about sweating. Sweating and having that moisture against you, if you have to stop, or you're made to stop because of an injury, that kind of thing, being wet is going to drive you to hypothermia very quickly. So as one of my personal heroes says, you sweat, you die, and it's very true. If you have the ability to make a fire, you can dry your clothes and keep warm next to it, do so. Always take a couple pairs of socks. You can switch them out as they get wet. You need to have at least 2 or 3 pairs. Switch them out often. In the summer, having your feet wet constantly will lead to foot fungus very quickly in the span of a few days, even. Again, in the winter, having your feet, saturated, you lose a lot of heat out of your feet, your head, and your hands. So that's very important. Footwear. Obviously, even in the summer, if you're going out hiking, anything open-toed is probably not the best idea. Unless you're out fishing in a boat, you can kick them off easy if you end up in the water. But aside from that, you don't want to obviously injure your feet. The most important thing for getting you out of there. So proper footwear is important. If it's in the winter and you expect wet areas, get a waterproof boot. If it's going to be mixed terrain, get yourself something water resistant. Again, in the summer you don't want waterproof because they won't breathe. They'll trap the moisture. And get yourself something with ankle, a good amount of ankle support. Twisting an ankle is just as bad as breaking a leg. It'll put you on your ass pretty quickly. As far as headgear, get yourself a wide brim hat. That'll keep the sun out of your eyes, the sun off your neck. And if you're bushwhacking, keeping your head down, it'll help deflect the brush. And then you want a hood, whether it's detachable or not. Again, the hat can get blown away, can get lost, that type of thing. But the hood will always be there as long as you have your attire that it's attached to. Gloves, obviously. These are cotton. These are just thin. If you're going to be hiking, you don't need a lot of dexterity. Mittens are the best. They keep your fingers together, helping keep each other warm. If you're going to need some dexterity, the convertible ones are great. Again, in wool, especially if it's snowing or it's rain, cold rain. It'll help keep that insulation. In your pants, you want something heavy. A light canvas like Carhartts are made out of, or a sturdy pair of jeans. That'll keep the brush off of your, keep it from getting scratched and such. Yeah, that's about it.